Spirit mentions that the weave is ramping up for all to feel, see, and experience. And this can often be perceived by the human personality ego self matrix as either euphoric or even dysphoric at first. And even to those around us, we might seem, to quote the phrase, a little batshit crazy. Because when we begin to start seeing and feeling and experiencing the weave for the first time, we are actually seeing our external reality sync up with our internal reality. We're starting to see the spirit with a capital S in the light of all things. And that can be ecstatically joyful to the personality self, where you want to see it and share it and shout it from every corner. But if the others, people around you, are not seeing it, if they're veiled from that experience still, then you look, stark raving mad. And that's okay, because that is part of the process of the awakening, and everyone is going to experience their own version of such things. I'm glad that I'm getting feedback from the chat here. And so, we are now moving into this phase where it's not just going to be like selected acolytes of spirit who are able to see and feel and know weave. This is going to be happening for humanity as a whole. And so these euphoric feelings, may sometimes get out of control, as well as these dysphoric feelings at first. And so when we start to understand what we're actually dealing with it, here at a soul level, multidimensionally, then we have the tools on the personality linear egoic level to actually thrive during this experience. So what is weave from spirit's perspective? Well, it's the revelation of God in each moment. It is the living spirit of light, which moves through all of us and everything within matter, time, space, and beyond. And here, Spirit said the beyond is something new that we've was only kind of available to the human before, but because the human is now so multidimensional, we have actually created the greatest show on earth, so to speak, where a lot of eyes, what we might even call very wise eyes from founder races and beings that, have far more divine wisdom and intelligence than, of course, the average human. They have eyes now turned on us because they see and feel the activation of the living spirit of light, which is now moving through all of us. And they're seeing it activated through all time, matter, and space. And so weave communicates with its own language. It's not necessarily spirit hitting you over the head with a mallet, although, from time to time in our lives when we are going the wrong way, that might happen to kind of redirect us on our path. But weave itself is more subtle, it's more nuanced. It's the secret language that's known only between ourselves and our creator, unless, of course, we choose to share it with others, like you're doing here in Sanctuary. But it's a personal language. What means something to you may mean absolutely nothing and be irrelevant, to the person sitting next to you in the car, that you're driving down the road. But it may have absolute special meaning and purpose to you, what just passed on the billboard, or, what you just saw, from or overheard from a conversation on the sidewalk. And so this secret language is always giving us signs, codes, messages, secret wisdoms that are known only to us and to God, of course, unless we choose to share that. And when we're in weave, Spirit says we begin to time travel into the eternal now, which is a space beyond this fourth dimensional matrix that we are leaving as a human species. And by reading the signal signs and symbols within our daily weave, we then begin to become the living, breathing weave itself. And we keep time in weave not by watching the clock or, waking up to an alarm necessarily, but by remembering that this is a pattern of energy and that a weave always ends where it begins. And often Spirit says we will not even know where it began until it ended. And that happens all the time to me, where something will come completely full circle. And it's just one of those like gagunk, like revelation, aha moments where suddenly something all makes sense. And it often happens through the most mundane of activations. And so when we are living within and as the weave, it requires this deep acceptance of the nature of paradox, because what might be true in this now moment may simply not be true in the next. And so we have to once again be willing to fluidly move through this spectrum of emotions, this spectrum of actions that the Holy Spirit asks of us, which might not always be comfortable or convenient to our personality selves. And that is part of the surrender. In fact, Spirit says we must, from the ego perspective, be willing to cleave to the weave in the sense that we must trust that the truth of each moment will reveal itself to us. So we cannot project ourselves forward into the moment and have any type of mental expectation or rehearsed conversation of what is going to happen. We must be present, be the receptive vessel. And that is what allows us to receive the divine information that we seek. Love is the law here. And all light dissolves in grace within the greater weave. This allows us a deeper connection to ourselves, the cosmos, our creator, and all others, and specifically uses relationship as the fastest vehicle to remembering our oneness with God.